Paper cut. As part of my challenge to learn more civs, I've been playing a civ on stream for 7 days straight to crash course myself in them. As part of this learning, I'll be doing breakdown videos after my 7 days of each civ. Today's the Ottomans. If I was to describe the Ottomans, I would liken them to an old lawnmower, the ones where you have to pull the chain to start, and often they take 3 to 4 pulls to get started. That's how they feel. They take a bit to get into gear, but once they are, it's very hard to stop them. Ottomans are all about the mixture of their vizier point system, military schools, unique landmarks, and how those all play into their unique style of play throughout the ages. Let's get into it. Let's go through the Ottoman bonuses first. We're going to start with the vizier point system, which game calls the Imperial Council. By training units and aging up, you unlock vizier points, which you can use to buy special upgrades and actions for the Ottomans. You earn 5 vizier points over the game, and you have 9 choices to spend on. In Castle Age, if you choose the Inspel University as your landmark, this is increased by 3 to 8 vizier points. These vizier points do allow for dynamic and unique play, but there are for sure vizier points that are chosen more than others. This leads me to the vizier point choices, what they are, and when do you choose them. In row 1, which are the vizier points you choose first, you have Fieldwork, which spawns 2 imams who will passively heal all friendly units within a 2.5 tile radius, and they will heal them for 1, 2, or 3 health every second, depending on the age. Meter Drums spawns a free meter, makes it so meter also increase movement speed by 15%. Anatolian Hills spawns 8 sheep under TC and increased mining speed by 15%. In general, you will often see Fieldwork or Anatolian Hills picked first. Fieldwork in fast castle builds, so you can grab relics right when you hit castle, or if someone is diving TCs in towers a lot and wants healing for their units. Anatolian Hills for long feudal play for extra safe food or second TC timing. Or if someone has rough food spawn and they just need food to live. Row 2 unlocks after you've spent your first vizier point. It includes Military Campus, which allows you to create another military school. Siege Cruise, which allows you to garrison a single infantry unit into a siege weapon to increase its setup and attack speed by 25%. Trade Bags, which increases gold amount by traders by 40% and increases the gold generated by the Sultanahani Trade Network landmark by 40%. In general, we once again see some favorites. Military Campus is almost always taken as the military schools are vital for Ottoman success. Siege Cruise is also often a popular choice, especially in late Castle and Imp when siege becomes heavy on the field. In general, Trade Bags is only taken in trade belts, which you only really see in team games. Row 3 unlocks for your third vizier point. It includes Fast Training. This increases the speed of your military school's production by 25%. Janissary Company instantly spawns 2 Janissaries per military school built under TC, but this only happens once. An Advanced Academy allows military schools to produce Janissaries and Lancers. In general, you will see fast training taken every game. You want your military schools to be faster. It produces more, obviously. Janissary Company is great for if you're about to lose and need instant units, or you're trying to take a push and help it succeed. This is also great if you're on a very long feudal, as Janissaries will defeat almost any unit in feudal except an Archer Mass. Advanced Academy is huge because the value of getting Lancers or Janissaries for free is immense. At full set, you can get 5 Lancers or Janissaries every minute. Military schools. This is one of the largest selling points of the Ottomans. Military schools cost 150 wood and 100 stone and produce units for free. You can only produce units you have unlocked, and knights plus Janissaries can only be made with Advanced Academy Vizier point chosen. Early game, without upgrades, military schools produce very slowly, so this affects the decision on when to add them. First, let's talk through how to speed them up. Blacksmiths provide production speed aura, so any production in their influence produces faster. This also works on military schools, and this production bonus is increased for each age, so you have 20% in feudal, 30% in castle, and 40% in imperial. The vizier point, fast training, improves production speed of military schools by 25%. If you choose the Istanbul Observatory in imperial, it increases the blacksmith production speed aura to 100%. So let's check out a table to see the Ottoman military school production speed based on these changes. If you want to see this for yourself, check the description of the video below where I'll link my notes that I took on while playing the Ottomans, as well as the table I made for production speed of military schools. As you can see, the Ottoman military schools really take off once you hit castle and add on fast training. In feudal, with just a blacksmith and no vizier point, the training times are slow. Considering it costs 250 resources to build a military school, it won't pay off around 3 minutes in feudal on average. This table also shows the value of going to Advanced Academy. Knights, with the full upgrades in Imp, are a massive resource value. If you made knights out of 5 military schools with full bonuses, you'd be getting 1,090 resources per minute worth of units. It's extremely valuable. This just once again shows how the Ottomans are a rev-up civ that often thrive in the late game. Overall, let's talk military school strategy. When to go Dark Age military school? It is viable against almost every civ, except English, because their villagers can shoot arrows, and Rus, they don't need elite TC range often. Against Mongol, I suggest you do a barracks and military school opening to outmass spears and stop the tower rush. It's also viable to skip Dark Age military schools altogether, but you'll miss out on the free spears and sped up vizier point timing. In feudal, I often delay my second military school for a while. If you think about it, the 250 resources for a military school could be 2 production buildings, which can quickly make units. If the goal is feudal pressure, it's better to go production first, then add military schools as your eco grows. Many top players don't even bother going military schools till castle, and you can understand why looking at that table. In Castle and Imperial, I suggest you always go the Vizier point for extra military schools and improved speed. The military schools in the Mehmed Imperial Armory, more on that later, are too vital to late game Ottomans to not boost their speed. Get military schools when you can, and make sure they are within the blacksmith influence at all times. Other Ottoman bonuses. Shipping routes. Fishing boats, trade ships, and transport ships move 10% faster. Honestly, not that big in 1v1s. Military inducement. Military and technology buildings are 33% cheaper. This is really helpful, making production buildings only 100 wood. The Great Bombard Emplacement. This replaces cannon emplacements for keeps, and it is strong. It does 100 range damage and does 200 extra damage versus buildings. This means keep dropping an opponent's base, or even another opponent's keep, can be a great move, as your Great Bombard Emplacement can destroy buildings on its own. It is expensive though, costing 250 gold and 400 stone. Let's go through the unique units of the Ottomans. First, you have the Sipahi, a horseman replacement, and it is good. Let's look at the comparison courtesy of Age of Empires wiki. As seen, they cost more, are slower, and take longer to train, but they have a higher attack, more health, and do even more damage to range units. They also have increased range, allowing them to snipe vills and encircle units even better than horsemen. They have an ability, Fortitude, that increases their attack speed by 50%, but take 50% more melee damage, so it's great against ranged masses. Overall, the Sipahi is an elite raiding unit, and a great frontline as well if needed. I think they shine in feudal as part of a mass archer comp, and in Castle Imperial, it's great to keep a mass that is raiding or sniping siege. The second is the Meter, a mounted war drum that provides military bonuses to units nearby. You choose which enhancement, but only one can be active on units, which will always be the first buff given. You have attack drums, which increases the attack speed by 15%, melee defense, which gives each unit plus 2 melee armor, and range defense, which gives each unit plus 1 ranged armor. Honestly, each of these drums is really good. Situationally, I think the following. If you have a huge range mass, do attack speed. If you're facing a huge melee push, such as men-at-arms or knights, melee drums. If you're facing an archer ball or diving TC with Sipahi, go range defense. It is vital you always have a Meter with your army. If possible, multiple, so they're hard to snipe and lose the aura. My suggestion is once you get multiple military schools, have one that's on the Meter at all times if you tend to forget to make it. Third is the Janissary, a hand cannoneer replacement that can be trained in castle. They do extra damage against cavalry and will absolutely decimate a cav mass. The trade-off though is that they have weaker overall damage, so they're not amazing against men-at-arms. They are not a ranged unit technically, so there's no bonus damage from cavalry or mangonels attacking them, but they do take overall 50% extra damage from range attacks, so archers and crossbows shred them. They also generally lose to just normal hand cannoneers. They also have a shorter attack range. In Imperial, they do get a unique upgrade that gives them 3 extra damage. They can also repair siege weapons. Overall, they are good in castle. If you're facing a cavalry comp, they will shred them. If not, go crossbows to have better damage against men-at-arms. If needed, do a mixed comp of Janissaries and crossbows to cover your bases. In Imperial, you can just mass Janissaries with their full upgrades, though they will lose to hand cannoneers in equal number. Their role is keeping your great bombards alive in late Imperial. More on that soon. Sipahi are a great match of Janissaries, as they're great against range units, which are Janissaries' primary counter. Next is the Grand Galley, an Imperial boat that doubles as a military school. Very powerful, but once again, rarely seen in 1v1s. Lastly is the Great Bombard. This thing is amazing. It's one of the best siege units in the game. It has long range, AoE damage, and has lots of health. Pair it with Janissaries that can heal and kill cavalry that would try to snipe it, and the Siege Crew's Vizier Point, and massive Great Bombards are practically unstoppable. One of the win conditions of Ottomans for sure is 3 to 5 Great Bombards in Imperial with enough Janissaries and Spears to keep them up. Let's go through the strategies available to Ottoman based on age and landmark. Overall, before I dive in, I do want to give a philosophical mindset you should have when using the Ottomans. You want to give yourself time to let the Ottomans get going, and decisively lean into a strategy you want to go for. Here are the 3 main ways I suggest playing Ottomans. 1. Dark Age Spearman Rush, with barracks, not military school, into either all-in or a fast castle. You want to do this against civs that have a fast start that Ottomans will struggle to respond to. Examples include French and Jeanne d'Arc, Byzantines, though this is to tower the berries and stop initial mercenaries. Ayyubid, their fast castles is just very fast. and Malians, burning that initial pit mine. You can Dark Age rush any civ except English. The move would be to age up and go Sipahi to counter their archers that will inevitably come, then go heavy into an archer ball if you want to fight in feudal. Your second strategy is a feudal all-in. With the mentor bonus, your goal is an archer ball. Go Sipahi first to raid and slow opponent, then go heavy into archers and get a mentor. Ottomans have one of the best feudal archer balls in the game. Delay second military school until you can put pressure on your opponent, or have gotten enough Vizier points to get fast training, which makes your military schools much more worth it in feudal. For feudal all-ins, I tend to do the berry landmark for the food boost, though Sultahani trade network is good on large maps for slow trade buildup and gold trickle. Third is Fast Castle. Go Dark Age Military School to delay opponent and get Vizier points. You have two ways to approach the Fast Castle. I tend to, no matter what, do the trade network. This is because I want the gold trickle, especially if I'm pushed off the gold. And since it doubles as a market, if I overgather a certain resource, I can sell it. The difference comes from the Vizier points. If you think your opponent is also rushing Castle or going 2TC boom, go early Imams, since you could potentially get other food. You can then use the Imams to get relics quickly and go Lancers to raid. If the opponent is all in you, go Anatolian Hills for the extra food to survive, then go Men at Arms to defend and hold until your Mangonel comes up from the Mohammed Armory. Ottoman second TC can be played, but I view it as too slow, and it avoids your two strengths, which are rushing Castle to get better production speed from military schools, better units, and all that, or going all in using your military bonuses to balloon an archer death ball. Now let's go through the Ottomans by age. I will be avoiding doing super gritty build order stuff, though I will touch upon some specific situations. If you want more nitty gritty, check my notes in the description where you can look at my build orders I've collected and my notes on how to do them. These notes will also give you my view on how I view Ottomans against all the other civs, or at least my experiences playing against those civs as Ottomans and my takeaways. Dark Age. Ottomans generally have two Dark Age options available to them. The first is the Dark Age Military School. This should get a spear to the opponent's side by the time they are clicking up, so the spear can basically harass gold, expose food, or delay stone gathering until the opponent gets units out to push away the spear. Try your best to retreat the spear before it dies. Another option is do Dark Age Military School, but keep the spears at home, which is seen in 2TC builds, or if you're fast casting and want the spears to defend the gold. To do this, when you start, send 5 vills for 1 round of stone, then 1 round of wood, then split them, 2 to gold, 3 to food. The 6th villager builds a house and goes to sheep. Then you build the military school once the stone is chopped off, and then you rally to food to age up. The other option is a Dark Age Spear Rush. Since the Ottomans start with 200 wood, you actually have a good capacity to do this, more than other civs. To Spear Rush, you send 2 to wood, 2 to food. 1 villager is building the barracks and then goes to wood. 1 villager is building a house and goes to food. Leave 3 on wood and keep rallying to food. Make 2 to 3 spears, then send a villager to build a tower on the opponent's gold, or berries if it's Byzantine. At that point, you can have to judge for yourself. Maybe you're cutting them off from a lot of resources so you keep making spears. Maybe you've done a lot of damage and you just rush feudal. If it's a Mongol tower rush, you want a barracks and a military school to help maintain your spearman mass. So the change is going to be 5 to stone for 1 gather round, wood for 2 gather rounds, then keep 3 on wood and have the other 2 build barracks, military school, and a house. While they do that, keep rallying to food. Keep 2 on wood if you want to keep building spears, or at some point do 3 to get a house and eventually move to the wood line if it is a long Dark Age. Tip. Early in the game, always have military schools close to TC, as you want to prevent them getting burned down at all costs. 250 resources is no small investment. Now let's talk feudal age. Ottomans are unique, and both of their feudal landmarks are fairly viable and can be used. It's situational, but it's also by preference. So let's break them down. First, you have the Twin Minaret Madras, also known as the food landmark. Acts as a mill and grows 4 berry bushes every 120 seconds that gather at 50% extra speed. This basically means that 4 vills can be on it and gather forever. Any more and the berries will fully run out before another grows. This landmark is great to always have food to use and really juiced food early on, as well as having 50 wood on a mill. Generally, I see this landmark as useful if you've done a long Dark Age, as you will probably be low on sheep. It's also good if you plan to go all in and fight in a long feudal. This gives you safe food for longer, and if food starts to run out on the map, you will keep having a consistent food source, which is really nice. The other landmark is the Sultahani Train Network, also known as the Gold Landmark. Acts as a market, can garrison up to 10 traders, each produces 24 gold a minute, starts with 3 traders. This allows you to maintain a gold trickle, up to 240 gold a minute if you have 10 traders, though I wouldn't suggest adding traders for a while, more like into Castle or Imperial. It also allows you to sneak trade on larger maps if you're being aggressive and keeping opponents in base. Generally, this landmark is good for fast castle, since if you're going fast castle, there's a good chance you might get pushed and lose your gold. So then that means you get a gold trickle this whole time. You will often go men at arms into castle if you're being pushed, unless it's a knight civ, then you might go janissaries and spears. If you're not getting pushed, you'll go knights, and even then you need gold for knights. Either way, you just need a bit of gold to stay alive. Not only that, since it's a market, you can sell extra resources if your resources are imbalanced. It's also great for large maps, so you can start trading at any moment. Often I feel that if I'm going to be aggressive and the opponent is booming, I go trade landmark to potentially take advantage of the trade. I also like the gold landmark better because I almost always go Anatolian Hills, which means I get cheap under TC, kind of negating the main point of the food landmark. Either way, you can't go wrong with either landmark. It just depends what you view as more valuable for the matchups, for your strategy, etc. As stated earlier, you generally will either want to go all-in feudal or go fast castle. All-in feels best against boom civs, such as Abbasid, China, Malians, or Byzantines. This is because Ottoman will get that rev-up time and can then take advantage of the huge archer ball Sipahi. Fast castle feels better against knight civs or civs that can be aggressive faster than you, such as French and English, and can generally be used against any civ. Civs that fast castle faster or better than you, such as HRE, Japan, or Ayubid, I suggest you just either do a Dark Age Spearman rush into towering their gold, or going all-in feudal and trying to win by overwhelming and cutting off resources as they hit castle. As stated earlier, I highly suggest you delay second military school into either late feudal or castle. I've had many games where I go early second military school, then get boxed in by an opponent who went units quickly. My huge investment in military schools is not paying off that fast, and I struggle to catch up in mass. The Ottoman feudal power comp. It's Sipahi frontline with mass archer ball. Now you might need to add spears if your opponent is a knight civ or doing a big mixture of horsemen and spears, and you of course want to meter with that, providing attack speed bonus. I cannot emphasize to you the power of this comp. With your production speed bonuses from Blacksmith, 3 archeries can absolutely pump units, and a huge archer ball with the meta bonus just makes them mow down any unit in front of them. Where does the Ottoman strength lie? Ottoman feudal is good, it's playable, and you can win if you can mass up, as the meta gives you a huge bonus against most civs. Castle, on the other hand, provides you so many more advantages. There's a reason that fast castle is such a popular move for an Ottoman player. First, you unlock Janissaries, making it very hard for opponents to go cavalry. Your military schools are much faster, and you can get more of them. Relics are a way to boost your gold eco. Those plus a full Sultani train work is a lot of passive gold. And lastly, you get free siege with the Mohammed Imperial Armory. So even if you're going to do damage in feudal, it's worth going castle to try to close the game if you're not sure you can do the killing blow in feudal. And overall, that's why going castle feels like the safest choice for Ottoman. Castle Age. Landmarks available to you. Castle and Imperial landmarks are pretty one-sided, with one landmark vastly standing out against the other. For in Castle, you have the Mohammed Imperial Armory, which acts like a military school but for siege, and it's affected by the same production speed bonuses. It should feel pretty obvious why this is the most chosen one. Free siege is really good. With your full upgrades, it's pretty fast too. The resources that you're getting over time with it are immense. Your opponent is also put on a timer, as they will need to get counter siege or else you'll just win fights with free mangonels. The other option is the Istanbul Imperial Palace. Buildings producing units and its influence provide double the points for Vizier points. So this means you can get 3 extra Vizier points, meaning you can get 8 out of the 9 Vizier options. Once again, you should be able to quickly see the issues of this landmark. With your constant unit production military schools and production speed bonus from Blacksmith, you will have no issues getting Vizier points. Besides that, getting more Vizier choices is not worth the same as the free siege you will get forever. You should be able to get the best Vizier options for your play with 5 Vizier points. Castle power comps. First one is the Men-at-Arms with Crossbow, Janissary, and Siege. This covers all your bases. The Men-at-Arms are to tank the front line, Crossbows to kill their Men-at-Arms, and Janissaries to kill cavalry. Mangonels will just kill opposing range in general. Your second comp is Sipahi, Janissary, and Siege. This is more simplified and still covers all your bases. Janissary's counter is ranged, and so the Sipahi will tear up ranged units. If opponents have spears, Janissary's damage plus Mangonels will do wonders. And Janissary's counter knights and horse. The biggest issue with this comp is Men-at-Arms, especially civs of tanky Men-at-Arms like English, Japan, HRE, and Order of the Dragon. This is because Janissary's damage against Men-at-Arms is lower than hand cannoneers. Sipahi don't do great damage as well, and Mangonels do only okay. This means if you're against a large Men-at-Arm mass, you will struggle, though in smaller numbers or against civs of normal Men-at-Arms, your Janissaries should hold up. Your strategy during a normal castle timing. You generally, at this point, are using Sipahi to raid and cause havoc. While that happens, you are building siege wall, getting Janissaries, gathering stone for keeps to secure resource centers and more military schools, starting your farm transition. If you notice an opening early, go for the push, but you're waiting for the rev-up period of getting your 4 military schools plus fast training. This will be even better if you can add on Advanced Academy and either get freelancers to raid with or free Janissaries. Strategy if you're going for a fast castle. You should open Lancers and raid plus secure relics. Hopefully, you're able to get field work as your first Vizier point, allowing you to then get 2 relics off the jump and get more after. You have a few ways you can take it from here. You can do mass Lancers plus Imams with their AoE healing and Mangonels. This is great against an opponent who did 2 TC. They will often have spears to defend and potentially just starting to get crossbows out. With enough imams, your knights will be tough to take down, and they're basically surviving until the mangonels can clean up the spears. You can also hard switch into a power comp mentioned earlier with a second TC added, a push, or an imp rush. If you're getting pushed during your fast castle, you should go men at arms instead, and you're basically making men at arms until you can get a mangonel out and push your opponent back. Fighting castle or rush imp, where does the strength lie? Once again, Ottoman has a great imperial age and just improves upon the power's castle. You get another military school, you get faster military schools, you get the great bombard, and strong keeps of great bombard emplacement makes them a really good defensive center point. Thus, it's often a safe choice to go imp and build your death ball of Janissaries, great bombards, and Sipahi. Most civs you should be able to be in castle, if everything is even. Those you might struggle against are China, because they have a very good imperial age, and HRE Japan, because their imperial men at arms are very, very good. Imperial age. The Ottomans have a great imperial age as mentioned before, so let's break it down. First, your landmark options. You have the Seagate Castle, which acts as a keep. Traders within a 15 tile radius of any keep gain 30% movement speed bonus and +8 melee range armor. This buff lingers for 15 seconds once the aura is gone. This landmark is not played often. Like any landmark that buffs trade, it's just not often seen in 1v1s. This is because the bonus of the landmark comes from deep into Imperial where you have a lot of trade, where you would rather have an instant bonus when you hit Imperial, which will make you more likely to just win the game. It's also not special enough of a keep, like the Berkshire or Red Palace, to warrant going for it. The other option, and one you will pick 90% of the time, is the Istanbul University. This acts as a university, buffs blacksmith production speed to 100%. This landmark is amazing. Your military schools now produce at an insane rate, and your production buildings in general just print units. Not having to spend 400 wood on university means you can just instantly get your Imperial upgrades as well. The Ottomans have two distinct phases of Imperial age in my opinion, as well as a few key power units. Phase 1. Buying time to build the death ball. You overall are trying to get 3 to 4 great bombards. With that amount, you can snipe siege, AoE damage unit masses, and delete any buildings. But this will take time. You're going to get a free great bombard from Mohammed Imperial Armory, but you also probably need to make 1 or 2 out of a siege workshop, and that's just expensive. It is also key to get siege works so you can get beefy great bombards. You will want to add Janissaries as well, which in their Imperial form are the best thing to pair with great bombards. They slay cavalry, they do okay against men at arms, and they can hold out for at least long enough for great bombards to do the AoE damage, and they can also repair great bombards in the field. While you're doing this, you want to get elite Sipahi and use them to raid and delay. Get them all over the map, diving bills, chasing traders. Don't throw them away, but you want to make your opponent not be able to push you until you can get your upgrades. Trying to get keeps on resources is also key. Great bombard emplacements are great for this. And lastly, of course, you want to get your last military school. This leads to phase 2, the push. You want to push with Sipahi, Janissaries, and great bombards. Once you push through your opponent's initial defenses, use great bombards to just work down opponent's buildings, while your Sipahi flood the opponent and hunt eco. Keep Janissaries on the great bombards and defend them and keep sending wave after wave of Sipahi to do eco damage, while great bombards go for main landmarks, keeps, and important buildings. Potential variations. If your opponent have really good men at arms, then you might want to do men at arms instead of Sipahi on the push. That gives you a tankier front line for Janissaries and great bombards to tee off on. You can also just add a Ribaldiquin, which shred men at arms, and do kind of more of a pure siege ball with great bombards, Ribaldiquins, and Janissaries. Conclusion. Overall, the Ottomans are a unique civ to have in your arsenal. They are overall good enough to play on most land maps, and match up well against the majority of opposing civs. They give you options at each stage of the game, though they are the weakest against early feudal high-tempo civs. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Please like and subscribe, and feel free to leave any comments or questions you may have. If you're looking for a community to ask questions and talk AoE4, or are just interested in getting coaching, check out my coaching Discord in the description below the video. Thanks again, and good luck on your games.